Sorry, are you supposed to be scary? Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 least scary horror movie monsters.
Please, mister, please. I have a daughter.
Call her.
Okay.
For this list, we'll be taking a look at what we consider to be the dumbest and or least scary monsters in horror movies. To be clear, we are not saying that these are bad movies. It's just that their monsters don't exactly give us the heebie-jeebies. Also, we'll only be including monsters which are legitimately meant to scare, or at least unnerve us. So intentional B-movie schlock will not be included. If you like what you're hearing, be sure to check out the full song at the link below. Number 10. The Gremlins. Gremlins. Yes, we understand that Gremlins is primarily a comedy, but it's meant to be a horror comedy hybrid, and because of that, we're calling these things lame. For one thing, this movie came out in 1984. While the creatures may have been scary then, they look ridiculous today, which pretty much eliminates any semblance of horror they may have once had. Secondly, their weakness is light. A monster is not very intimidating if it only reaches your knee and can be defeated with a flashlight. Granted, they absolutely terrified kids in the 80s, so job well done, we suppose? Number 9. The Professor, House of a Thousand Corpses. With a title like that and director Rob Zombie behind the camera, you'd think this movie would be filled with menacing creatures. Nope, we got this instead. The Professor is a mutant with an oxygen mask who follows the orders of its boss, Dr. Satan. And that's probably the most ridiculous sentence we've ever spoken. We're not really sure what its deal is, but it looks absurd. And the cheesy guitar music which plays during his supposedly terrifying entrance isn't doing it any favors. But then again, we were not really expecting much from this movie anyway. Number 8. The Blob. The Blob. Yes, this movie is from 1958, but plenty of movies from the 50s are still scary. This one is just bleh. The New York Times review called the movie's special effects pretty phony, and if they looked bad in 1958, you can only imagine how terrible they look over 60 years later. The Blob is a giant alien thing which crashes to Earth on an asteroid, and it eventually grows in size as it feasts. The problem is, the Blob simply looks like a glob of jelly and moves like molasses. Sure, in real life, it might be kind of scary to see a giant glob of jelly moving towards you, but for audiences, it's a bore.
Now listen, is there any other way out of here? The windows.
Number 7. The Zombies. World War Z.
Coming over the top!
While the movie was certainly filled with non-stop zombie action, it would have been better if the zombies were actually, scary. Like a zombie should be. Perhaps due to its PG-13 rating, these zombies did not look menacing at all. They just looked like ragdolls who ran fast and made goofy noises. Also, the movie employed far too much CGI for its own good, so scenes which should have been terrifying, like a surge of zombies toppling a bus or scaling a giant wall, looked laughable instead. They're very basic PG-13 zombies for a very expensive PG-13 movie. Number 6. Smiley. Smiley.
What? Think someone's gonna call Smiley on me?
Who?
You know, the urban legend. Smiley.
No, who's that?
Okay, let us just tell you the synopsis of this film. The Smiley killer is an internet myth, and when you type "I did it for the lulz" 3 times into a webcam-based website, Smiley will supposedly come and kill the person you're talking to. Yeah, it's like Bloody Mary, only with lulz and webcams.
Oh, well, I don't know why you did it, but I know why I did it.
Not only is the storyline and supposed myth preposterous, but the killer, with his sewn eyes and carved smile, looks pretty stupid as well. While it would probably scare a few kids who happen to be watching, it does absolutely nothing for the rest of us. Number 5. Giant Spider, Arachnophobia.
Itsy bitsy spider crawled up the water spout.
Spiders are definitely creepy. Seriously, how many of you scream at the slightest hint of a spider? Therefore, the finale of this movie, about a group of poisonous spiders killing the residents of a small town, should have been terrifying and grotesque. Instead, we got a spider slightly larger than a tarantula. It also follows the rule of every boogeyman monster ever, as it comes back to life with a lame jump scare and chases the protagonist while it's on fire. Yeah, we wish we made that up. Spiders can be terrifying. Spiders that act like Jason are just silly. Number 4. The Creeper, Jeepers Creepers. This movie started out with a ton of potential, seeming like a more disgusting and extreme version of Steven Spielberg's Duel. The story of a psychotic truck driver who kills people and stitches them to walls of an abandoned church sounds badass. But then the movie does a complete 180 and we find out that this psychotic truck driver has wings and is actually an ancient creature who hunts humans for 23 days every 23rd spring. Yep, it's really lame, and it ruined what could have otherwise been a perfectly fine horror movie. Number 3. The Leprechaun, Leprechaun 3.
A lucky sign. The gold inside will soon be mine.
There's a reason this movie was direct-to-video. The first 2 Leprechaun movies were bad enough, with a giggling, diminutive villain that inspired neither laughs nor chills. But somehow Leprechaun 3 managed to scrape even deeper into the bottom of the barrel, taking Lubden to Vegas and making him even more ridiculous.
Those shoes, do they come in blue suede? I really like them, man.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
After all, it's hard to be scared of a villain who does Elvis impersonations. Sure, his goofy antics were played mostly for laughs, but they somehow managed to fail at both, and so did his super lame kills.
Who the hell are you? I'm a leprechaun, me lass, and I'm gonna make you pay.
Number 2. A Very Nice Car, Christine.
I'll break 1,000 more, baby, before I am through.
Throughout much of the 1980s, Stephen King was flying high. As a result, we got a bunch of weird stories, including some about inanimate objects attacking people. The most famous of these is probably Christine, a story about a sentient and bloodthirsty Plymouth Fury. Yes, the movie is every bit as silly as that sentence made it sound. We mean, what is honestly scary about a car? And a really beautiful car at that. The whole situation is embarrassing, and while John Carpenter does what he can with the material, the story is far too out there to be even close to scary. Before we unveil our least menacing number 1 pick, here are some dishonorable mentions.
Hello? My name is Elliot Moore. I'm just going to talk in a very positive manner, giving off good vibes. We're just here to use the bathroom.
up to 7-10 split. Oh, shit!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Uber Jason, Jason X. Jason was once the king of the slasher movie, complete with a terrifying build and his signature hockey mask. And then he went into space, and once your franchise does that, you're pretty much done.
Impossible! He's dead!
I'd say he got better. He's been modified.
Oh, you think?
Not only is the movie itself asinine, it's about a serial killer coming back to life in the year 2455 on Earth 2. But Jason went from intimidating to laughingstock real quick. His new nanite suit is probably the dumbest thing we've seen in a horror movie, especially considering that his distinctive mask was replaced with whatever this is. You can't really take this series too seriously, but this is a new low. Do you agree with our picks? Let us know in the comments. And hey, if you're a fan of the song playing right now, be sure to check out the music video for it right here.